Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ricky V. And today I want to talk about 4-DHEA and how to properly use this compound for the best results. Now, 4-DHEA is one of the strongest compounds you can buy over the counter right now. It's a form of DHEA, which is actually already on its way to becoming a strong androgen that your body can utilize to build big solid slabs of muscle. It's a very good compound, and it's one of the strongest compounds you can legally get over the counter right now. Now, 4-DHEA, once in your body, is converted to testosterone at a pretty high level. It first goes through a conversion to 4-AD. Now, 4-AD, for some of you that might not know, is 4-androstenediol. And on its own, it's a pretty kind of weak androgen, weak estrogen. So it's actually a precursor to now real testosterone. Now, it's important to note that 4-androstenediol is much closer to testosterone than, say, 1-androstenediol or 5-androstenediol. You know, it's closer to testosterone than to even its own diol cousins because of the structure it's already in. And 4-androstenediol is the actual prohormone that converts to testosterone. It does so via the enzyme 3-beta hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase. That's a 3-BHSD for you guys that are into chemistry and want to look that up. And via this enzyme, your 4-AD your 4-androstenediol is going to convert into testosterone. And this is going to give you most of your anabolic muscle building results from this compound is that conversion to testosterone. 4-androstenediol is such a strong compound and it converts to testosterone at such a fast pace that the DEA scheduled 3 as a controlled substance back in 2004. I don't know how many of you guys were around for those times. I know I was, but you used to be able to buy 4-androstenediol right over the counter, and then the feds came down and basically made it illegal for you to buy it in its current form to take over the counter. But it is still totally legal to go one step further back and take 4-DHEA, buy it over the counter. You take that legally. Once it's in your system, that 4-DHEA will convert to 4-androstenediol, which will definitely convert to testosterone. These are natural occurring conversions that kind of happen in your body already. But what you're doing by taking one of these vintage muscle products that contains 4-DHEA is you're adding more of those hormones right to your system, creating an abundance of anabolic hormones. The best way to use 4-DHEA, or the way I like to take it, is I like to use it for bulking, for lean bulking when I'm trying to gain some serious mass. Now, depending on where you get your 4-DHEA, like the vintage muscle guys, they're going to give you a protocol that they feel works well with their version of the product and whatever else they have to stack with it. So my recommendations on how to use 4-DHEA are going to be mines and mines alone, I think. And the way I would use 4-DHEA is I would use it as a bulker. It's a nice, good, clean product you can buy over the counter that you can get from a legitimate company like Vintage Muscle, where you can be guaranteed the product is always going to be 100% legitimate and you're always going to get what you paid for because you're shopping from a legal nutritional supplement shop. And that's always a guarantee that you're going to get nice, clean product as opposed to trying to buy, let's say you went and tried to buy some black market testosterone. You might be injecting black market testosterone, and it might be loaded with heavy metals, contaminants, and things you don't really want because those guys don't have any governing body overseeing them. Now, when you buy 4-DHEA from Vintage Muscle, you're guaranteed the product is going to be 100% legitimate, no heavy metals, all of the GMP concerns are going to be covered, and you have a good product that is manufactured in the US. Now, the 4-DHEA will convert in your body to 4-AD, 4-androstenediol, which will then lead to a conversion to testosterone. Now, testosterone is great if you want to lose weight or gain it. If you want to lose body fat or gain some muscle mass, good testosterone will get you there. And I like to personally use 4-DHEA for bulking. It's good. You can put on some serious mass, and you can stay on it quite a long time. You can stay on 4-DHEA a lot longer than you would stay on an oral, like say Dianabol. With an oral like Dianabol, you're going to be concerned about liver toxicity. And after 4 to maybe 6 weeks on those products, you're going to want to come off. When it comes to 4-DHEA, you can really stay on the product 3 to 4 months, even 5 months, I've seen guys stay on a product like 4-DHEA, and you have no concerns about liver toxicity and no concerns about any real long-term health issues like you would with some of the black market kind of illegal steroids. As long as you're on a caloric surplus and eating nice and clean, you're going to see some serious gains on the 4-DHEA. You're definitely going to see some serious poundage, way more than you would see if you were completely natural or just taking regular good old testosterone boosters. You're going to see an additional increase in the way things work, in the way your body performs once you are at exogenous anabolic hormones by using one of these vintage muscle products, and specifically the 4-DHEA. In my opinion, that's going to be the better one for bulking, is the one that I like to use for bulking out of all the over-the-counter products. Are there any special recommendations or anything you need to be on the lookout for when taking 4-DHEA? I personally advise you to take it about 2 to 3 times a day if you could split the dose. Most orals will have a short half-life, and this 4-DHEA is not any different in that regard. It's going to only be active for a few hours. So taking maybe your first dose in the morning, then another one 3 to 5 hours later, and you keeping your dosing about 3 to 5 hours spread apart will give you some pretty steady levels. Also, when it comes to 4-DHEA, the more the better. This product doesn't particularly stress your liver. It's not methylated, so you're not going to have any concerns with the liver. So really taking 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 milligrams per day of 4-DHEA, you could potentially take that much. It won't hurt your liver taking that much, and you could take that much for an extended period of time. Bodybuilders will take as little as 500 milligrams a week to as much as 3,000 milligrams a week of steroids. In the same case here, you using 4-DHEA, you can take as little as 50 milligrams, 100 milligrams a day, or go as high as 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day of this 4-DHEA product. It's really up to you how much you want to stack on and what kind of results you're looking for. At that point, taking 500 milligrams, 1,000 milligrams a day of 4-DHEA, you're looking at some serious results. And you might also experience then some additional side effects at that point. This is why maybe stacking 4-DHEA with something like 5-OHP or one of the other products, or maybe the 1-DHEA product in the Vintage Muscle product line might be your best bet. Maybe don't stack so hard on one hormone, but actually take them in a stack. Take them in a stack with the other products. Definitely 4-DHEA is a great product. You want to be on a caloric surplus when you're taking it, and you want to be training hard, taking those sets to failure. It's really the only way you're going to see some serious growth on it. So that's kind of my protocol for you guys. You can go as little as 50 to 100 milligrams per day to as high as 500 milligrams per day. You're going to need a few bottles from Vintage Muscle in order to use that much. As far as liver issues, you're not going to see much of liver problems when it comes to 4-DHEA, guys. It's really that good and that nice of a compound. It's one of the reasons why it's still legal. Some of the methylated hormones that became illegal back in 2014, those were pretty serious and could really hurt your liver if you didn't know what you were doing with them. 4-DHEA, nice on the liver. Take it as long as 4 months if you wish. Take as little as 50 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams, 500 milligrams per day. Some guys report incredible results just on about 200 milligrams per day. That seems to be a pretty sweet spot for most guys. And just make sure you're working out hard on a caloric surplus, and you should be pretty darn good. If you're worried about estrogen issues with 4-DHEA when you take it in the higher ranges, because if you're taking 200-300 milligrams of this stuff a day, 500 milligrams a day of 4-DHEA, you're going to have a lot of conversion to testosterone. And testosterone can then later convert to estrogen. So in order to avoid some of this conversion to estrogen, you might want to try something like arimistane. If you're shopping from Vintage Muscle, they already have an arimistane product. I think you should be able to find it under arimidone or something like that. I don't really know what it comes under, but you go right ahead and get some arimistane along with your 4-DHEA if you're going to be doing the higher dosages per day. And that arimistane is going to get rid of some of the aromatase enzyme that would maybe potentially turn that testosterone into estrogen. So it's a good way of ensuring that the majority of the conversion from the 4-DHEA to testosterone, that it stays as testosterone, it stays as a male hormone, and you're not going to have also an uptick in estrogen production, because by using aromatase, you bind up that aromatase enzyme pretty good. So that's another recommendation that I have when taking 4-DHEA. If you're going to go above 200-300 milligrams per day, you definitely want to also grab some aromatase to use right along with the product and go. So yeah, 4-DHEA, guys, is a really, really, really good product for all you guys that want to stay legal over the counter. You want good, clean gear that you don't have to worry about it being contaminated or heavy metals or any of that stuff. Good product made in the USA. You just got to make sure to stack on, the milligrams, a couple 100 milligrams a day. It will really get you there, like a serious bulking cycle. Throw some aromatase right on top of that. Get that right over the counter. Great. You have an amazing cycle. That's it, guys. That's all I had to say about 4-DHEA. A lot of guys had questions about it. A lot of guys wanted to know how it's different than the other ingredients in the Vintage Muscle product line. And catch me on the next one, guys. I'll tell you guys more about some of these legal over-the-counter pro hormones and how you could use them for best results. Signing out, guys. Ricky V. Rock. Have a good one.